As you can probably see behind me, I'm redoing my shelving. And as I redo each one, I have to remove each statue. So I thought if I got this heavy beast down, I might as well do a review on him, since I never have, and he's often touted to be the best Venom statue ever made. So today, we're gonna find that out. By the way, when I have sunglasses on, this works so good. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we are giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today we're looking at Prime 1 Studios' Venom statue. This is an older piece, a piece I've actually had for a while, and if you're new to the channel, look behind me. I really love Venom statues because it keeps going along that entire wall. And a lot of people tout this is one of the best licensed Venom statues that has ever been made. Now, license means that it's actually approved by Marvel or Sony or whoever the hell owns the rights to Venom nowadays. I'm not really sure. I say that because behind me I have a lot of what we call custom. Those are private unlicensed commissions. Venom's always been a favorite of mine. Growing up, I remember the Lethal Protector series. Every time I went to the comic shop, I looked for Venom specific comics. I do like Spider-Man quite a bit. I more enjoy his enemies, especially Venom. Prime 1 Studios came out with this a long time ago, and it's kind of strange. They don't have a lot of Marvel 1/4 scale pieces, because that's what this supposedly is. It's supposedly 1/4 scale, even though it's giant. Now, Venom is a much bigger guy. He's polymorphic as well, so he kind of changes sizes in the comics because the suit, the symbiote suit, can actually do that. But today we're going to review this piece, even though it's probably been reviewed hundreds and hundreds of times before, but never here on the Extreme channel. That was almost a gang sign. Extreme channel. So let's just dive in. And first we're going to kick it off with concept, as we always do, and they did a lot of amazing things with this, but nothing unique. Now, if you've seen my Venom statue reviews before, you know I always say the base is either a sewer or a rooftop. No exception here, but they did do what we call a museum sub-base. Down below, they have this metallic aspect to it with little spiders and webbing all over it. I think that's cool. It's different. You guys know I usually don't like these type of bases. I don't like the height it adds, but conceptually, it's still kind of cool. Then you have a sewer with tons of different things going on. You have symbiote, you have webbing, you have rocks, you have more spiders. And then it's a big concrete sewer aspect to it going on. More of everything we just talked about. Some giant spiders. You can't really see them on the front, but we'll look at them close with paint and sculpt. And then some sewer piping coming out, more webs, and Venom is all over the place. The symbiote has actually came alive with pieces of the symbiote that actually have mouths coming out. This was made way before the movie, if I recall correctly. And Venom is huge. You know, sometimes with a statue, we just talk about its presence and how imposing it is. And that is clearly the case with this guy. He's actually in the center of my Venom display on the top shelf for that reason. And he looks very creature-esque. I talk about this a lot as well. They either look more humanoid or creature-esque. Here it's kind of a mix, actually, to be honest. Part of the body is more humanoid, where the portrait, that at least the one I'm displaying here, is creature-esque. And they do have some switch-out options we're going to talk about, but I just love it. I think this encompasses Venom really well, even though it has a few things that aren't really true to him. It has some webbing, which some of the comics he can do webs. Some of it he just uses his tendrils or his symbiote. There's spiders, and while he has the spider symbol on his chest, he kind of adapted that when he was taking over Peter Parker. That's not really a big part of him in the comics. So I love the concept. I love the presence. I think it's a 5 out of 5. It shows everything we want with Venom. Now, part of the problem, though, even though I love the presence of it, it almost is too big.
Hey, that's what she said.
That's more of a design issue, which is what we're going to talk about now. Now, I'm not going to do the unboxing and assembly because I did that years and years ago, but there are a ton of pieces. All these tendrils come off, the spiders come off, the webs come off. Venom minus his portrait is one piece. And actually, if I recall right, I think his thumb is a separate piece, so it doesn't break when it wraps around this pipe here. It was 2 huge giant boxes, which is crazy for a 1/4 scale piece. And let's actually get these giant dimensions. So the widest point in the base is probably around 17 inches or so. And it actually goes to almost 23 inches for the widest point up here. The deepest point is probably about 15 or 16 inches. And then the tallest tendril is way up there, is a little over 32 inches, which is crazy. That's bigger than some 1/3 scale pieces. So I keep saying scale. Scale is how much is it shrunk down from a real life version. 1/4 is 4 times, 1/3 is 3 times. So it's actually bigger even though it's a smaller number. Now there are some switch out options. So this is the exclusive. They made 2 versions, a regular and an exclusive. The exclusive had an additional portrait. So right here is one portrait. Here is another. And then here is the exclusive. This is the one I prefer by far, so the other are actually in the box. This does leave a little bit of a seam line in the portraits. You can check it out right here. Now, one thing I really don't like on design, besides the massive size, is I don't like how the symbiote tendrils are really glossy and his body is more of a matte finish. You can really see the contrast right here. They don't look like they're actually coming out of him. I think that is definitely a miss. I also don't like the fact that you have to have all these tendrils. If you wanted to remove them, there's these giant keyholes. So I think there's a lot of opportunity with the design on this, and you're almost asking for broken pieces as well. So I think I have to rate the design a 3 out of 5 on this, unfortunately, which Prime 1 Studios usually does pretty good. But let's look at the paint and sculpt, and that's where they do great. They do great nowadays, and they did great with this piece. So other than that gloss issue, it's hard to find a flaw in this. Let's check it out. So one of the things I really like about this piece is, I'm going to start off up here, is how they really incorporated the blue. It's under lights and focusing on it, it almost looks overpowering, almost looks too much, but from a little bit farther back, it kind of fades away. I think that's really smart how they did that. Here's some more close-ups of how that gloss just really contrasts with the matte. But I think the physique on him is phenomenal. I love the anatomy. Not overly buffed, but still huge just due to its presence. I do like how the tendrils are going everywhere, and especially like the gloss on the teeth of where the symbiote actually has additional mouths. So I think that's great. Really on Venom here, just overall great job. Now one interesting thing with his nails, you know, Venom usually either has black nails kind of embodied in the suit or separate enamel nails. That's what they did here. You can see that on his feet and his hands. Now his spider symbol here, it's protruding. Usually it's either indented or it's protruding, and it's tied around to the front, which isn't always the case. And then you see a little subtle blue in his eyes, and it could almost be a reflection of the suit, but I like how that's very creature-esque. I love how the teeth are everywhere. The mouth is done phenomenally. The drooling effect, the clear resin looks great. I like the colors on the tongue and the texture on it. And then kind of the saliva overlapping it. Then these indentions in his neck, like I said, very creature-esque like. So overall, the Venom is fantastic. Then the accessories on here, the rest of it, like the moist effect on top of the pipe here, the pipe, how it's crushed underneath him in gold and green and carotid, looks fantastic. The little spiders, the tendrils wrapping around it. Little spiders everywhere. You can see them on this great concrete block with the little pebbles mixed in. Even these giant spiders right here, while I don't fully understand it, I know it's part of the Dark Origins, they look great. Really remind me of Harry Potter, or that Ewok movie. Remember what I'm talking about, some of you? Here's some close-ups of the webs. These look okay. Not bad at all. Some rivets in the pipe. Then down here, even some more detail going on, kind of a little bit of a moist effect. There's some of the webbing, and then also in the sewer right here, the broken grate, the green sewage. Then the sub base down here, I like this. So I like, it really displays it as museum quality, which typically I'm not a fan of, but here I really am, and I like how they added some of the little spiders on that. So kind of going over this fast because it has been reviewed many times before, but just overall a phenomenal piece by Prime 1 Studios. And to kind of give you an idea, that's where it goes up there in between the bus. All right, so we'll cut out there and come back in. So overall, great details on the base, both the paint and the sculpt. Looks very realistic. I like the Easter eggs that are hidden in here. The presence of Venom You know, I don't think it'd be as impressive if he wasn't as big, but still the detail is definitely there with the paint and the sculpt. Big fan. The portrait is fantastic. The other portraits are quite good as well, just not my favorite. But definitely appreciate this piece. All right, so Sculpt, I think the Sculpt is amazing. I love every part of it. It's definitely a 5 out of 5 for me. There is not a second thought in my mind. The paint is done very well. Like I said, I'm gonna kind of eliminate that gloss issue because I think that's more of a design issue, but I think the paint's a 4 out of 5 overall. Now, typically we don't talk about value on an older piece, but if we did, at least the retail price of this, because it's not available anymore at retail, this was $900 for a piece this big. That's a great deal in my opinion, especially nowadays, 1/4 pieces this big are going for $1,300 to $1,500. Now, they made a total of 2,500 of these if you include the regular and the exclusive versions, so there is a lot out there, but it's a fantastic Venom piece. But does this piece have the X factor? Is it a 5 out of 5 statue? I definitely think it is. Like I said, the pose on him, the presence, the paint and sculpt are fantastic. I really like everything they did. Definitely a 5 out of 5 statue in my book. Going to be in my collection forever as long as I collect Venoms, which I foresee being a very long time. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. So throw down in the comments below what you think. Does this still hold as one of the best Venom statues out there? That'll enter you into the contest. Make sure to drop me a like on the way out, and if you like stuff like this, hit that picture of me to subscribe. I'll talk to you guys very soon. Take care.